My contribution to the volume on Church and Apartheid in Transnational Perspective is about the divergent ways of doing race within the Dutch Reformed family Venema. In the first decades of the 20th century, 7 brothers out of 10 children Venema migrated to South Africa. Differences between the family members in doing race became unavoidable, especially when Rennie, a daughter of the only brother who stayed in the Netherlands, married the Afro-Suriname teacher Leendert van Lint in 1960. For the relatives in South Africa, this interracial marriage was unacceptable because, as a cousin of Rennie told me in 2006, God created man, white or black or yellow. That's a natural process. As a human, you do not change that. With these and similar statements in my suitcase, I returned to the Netherlands to trace the consequences of this marriage for the family ties. Initially, Rennie and her husband ignored insulting reactions from her kin in South Africa. They moved to Suriname for some years while her relatives in the Netherlands and South Africa maintained the kinship ties through letters and occasional visits. In 1968, however, after having returned to the Netherlands, Rennie picks up her pen to send a letter to her dearest family in South Africa. The murder of the Black American minister and human rights activist Martin Luther King prompted her to express herself on the issue of race. After recognizing the complex situation in South Africa, referring to the policies of apartheid, she emphasizes her faith in a God who created us in his own image. That causes her to apply the words of Genesis, "God saw all that he had made, and it was good," to her multiracial family. In her letter, Rennie appeals to a religious discourse to restore the relationship with her family in South Africa, but her attempt to raise mutual understanding stumbled on an orthodox Calvinism in which the creation and the resulting social order, including racial inequality, was perceived as God's almighty will. The idea of family as a biological and historical community made sure that the relations between the relatives in South Africa and the Netherlands, including Rennie herself, were not broken. But the issue of race had to remain untouched, or otherwise it would drive them apart. This transnational family history shows how all family members appealed to the same Christian God and the same Bible to support opposite views on racial relationships and different ways of doing race. In that respect, we can conclude that, in this case, a similar Christian religion formed a blockade rather than a means for cultural transfer within the family and between both nations. That insight is also important for the current political debate in Europe on migration, where religion, race and nationality intersect. It indicates that the perception of a European Christian culture as an unambiguous humanistic practice that can be placed against an equally univocal Orthodox Islamic culture is historically false and politically dangerous.
Every time I feel the spirit moving in my heart, moving in my